This week's parsha is Parshat Vayera, where we encounter the Akedah at the very end of the parsha. Now, I heard this Torah from my old roommate, who heard it from Rabbi Billowitz. He's one of the Kollel members in the Kollel in Highland Park, Edison, New Jersey area. So there are 4 stages of prophecy. This is some background information to the Akedah. There are 4 stages. The first stage is the ability to see malachim, or to see spiritual entities. For example, someone once came to Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz, who lived about 300 years ago, with a clear vessel. He had a question for him. And he asked Rabbi Yonasan, he said, look, I'm not sure if I've tofeled this or not, if I put it into a mikvah, so I don't know if I can eat out of it. What's the deal? How do I know? Do I tofel it again? Do I say a bracha? So Rabbi Yonasan said, well, why don't you just turn the vessel over, look at the bottom, and see if there's the Shem Hashem on it, if God's name is inscribed on it. To which this person, I'm assuming, looks fairly taken aback. To which Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz realized, I guess not everyone sees things like that. So that's one level. The second level is Ruach HaKodesh. And we want to focus on the third and fourth level. Those are the stages of what we classically know as prophecy. The third level, right, the second highest level, is when God sends a prophet an image, and then the prophet interprets that image. Now, what we see are words, right? We read Tanakh, we hear from all these prophets, and they're just giving us the words. So we assume that God just put the words directly into the prophet's mouth. But that's not the way it works. What happens is God sends them an image, and then the prophet, through his lens, right, needs to see it and interpret it, and then he speaks out the prophecy. That's how most prophets do it. However, the highest level of prophecy is when God puts the words directly into the prophet's mouth and the prophet speaks. And that is obviously exceedingly rare. There are only 2 people in history who have ever experienced such a level, and that is, of course, Moshe Rabbeinu and Bilam. Now, the thing with Bilam is, being Bilam, he was a regular prophet, right? He received an image from God, but being Bilam, he had his own agenda. And even though he knew that God didn't want to curse the Jewish people, Bilam, because of his hatred, pathological hatred for the Jewish people, he figured, okay, how can I work my way around this? I know that God sent me an image, and the image says X. Maybe, because I hate the Jewish people so much, I can corrupt my lens so that when I'm interpreting it, I can effectively see through the image, right? See into the image something that would allow me to curse the Jewish people. I could interpret it in a way that would allow me to legitimately say, this is the image I was sent because I hate them so much. Because that's the lens through which he's seeing this image. Now, what's scary about that is that Bilam was right. He was able to do that. And that's why God spoke directly, put the words directly into Bilam's mouth. Because God, amazingly, seems to have lowered himself, right, and allowed and effectively put those words directly into Bilam's mouth in order to save the Jewish people. That's what God did for the Jewish people, because he did not want Bilam to issue a curse against us, which is amazing and a powerful lesson. But our problem is this. What on earth does this have to do with our parsha? Okay, we said we were going to speak about the Akedah, and here we are talking about Bilam and Moshe and all that. So says Rabbi Billowitz, it's a very simple message here. Abraham was a regular prophet. He was not like Moshe Rabbeinu or like Bilam. He did not get the words of prophecy placed directly in his mouth. That means he was sent an image. That also means that the image he was sent was telling him to sacrifice his son, Yitzchak. This is the son who was promised from God, who would be his spiritual heir, right? After waiting 99 years for this individual, right? And even if it's not 99 years, right? He was 99 years old when he was promised his baby boy. But when he was 75 years old, he was told, Lech Lecha, right? Go from your land, I'll make of you a great nation. It was promised by God. And only 24 years later is he promised that he would actually have a son by next year. That's Yitzchak. And even so, the greatness of Abraham was not simply that he heeded the call, right? He answered it. He went enthusiastically. He was happy to fulfill God's command. What's amazing, even before all that happened, was that he received this image that was incomprehensible, that made absolutely no sense, that Abraham knew that God didn't actually want this to happen, and even so, Abraham interpreted the image correctly. He polished off his lens to make sure he saw it with perfect clarity. Abraham saw what was being demanded of him, and he responded to the call. That was the gadlut of Abraham. That is one of the elements of the test of the Akedah, and we'll end it there. Shabbat Shalom.